Imagine a place where time itself appears frozen, trapped beneath layers of ice older than civilization. A place so silent that even your heartbeat feels like an intrusion. This is Antarctica, the last continent untouched by cities, borders, and noise. A white cathedral at the edge of the world, where the wind carves prayers into snow and the sun hangs low like a distant observer. For millions of years, this frozen kingdom stood unmoved, indifferent to empires rising and falling elsewhere on the planet. It regulated Earth's breath, cooled its oceans, and guarded memories older than humanity itself. It was never meant to change quickly. It was never meant to scream. But now, beneath the howling wind, another sound is emerging. Not the crack of surface ice or the familiar groan of glaciers shifting in their sleep, but something deeper, a low, spreading fracture that travels for miles beneath the frozen skin, a sound like bones snapping under impossible pressure. Antarctica is no longer silent, it is breaking. And the most terrifying part is that this collapse is happening not from the sky above, but from the darkness below, where warm ocean currents move like unseen predators, eating the continent from the inside out. What we once believed would take thousands of years is now unfolding within a single human lifetime. Scientists arrive to document beauty, to study ice cores and ancient climate records, but many now speak in hushed voices, as if afraid the ice itself might be listening. Beneath their feet lies a frozen archive, layer upon layer of snowfall compacted over 800,000 years. Each layer holds trapped air, ancient atmospheres sealed like whispers in glass. The ice remembers a slower world, a stable planet, a time before fever. But in the upper layers, something changes. The rhythm breaks. Carbon levels spike violently. The past does not flow smoothly into the present. It jolts like a nightmare interrupting a dream. The ice does not lie. It tells us that the planet is no longer merely warming. It is sick. As the surface melts, something far worse happens below. Vast ice shelves, floating fortresses the size of countries, begin to thin. These shelves are not decoration, they are restraints. They are the massive plugs holding back inland glaciers from sliding into the sea. For millennia, they stood firm, invisible guardians of global stability. Now, warm seawater creeps underneath them, eroding their foundations in complete darkness. Caverns form, ceilings weaken, the shelves begin to tremble. When one collapses, it does not fall quietly. It shatters violently, releasing inland ice like an unchained beast. The collapse of one shelf triggers another. Dominoes fall, but each domino is a mountain of ice, and each impact sends shockwaves through the planet. Nowhere is this more terrifying than at Thwaites Glacier, the so-called Doomsday Glacier, a slab of ice as wide as a nation, holding enough frozen water to raise global sea levels by more than half a meter on its own. Radar images show its base dissolving, its grip on the continent loosening faster than anyone predicted. Cracks widen, the grounding line retreats. Scientists say that once Thwaites gives way completely, it will not die alone. It will pull the heart of West Antarctica with it. The collapse is no longer hypothetical. It is mechanical. It has begun. Above the water, life begins to unravel. Antarctica's creatures evolved to survive darkness, cold, and endless wind, but not hunger. Sea ice vanishes earlier each year, taking with it the algae that grow beneath its surface. Krill disappear. Penguins walk farther and farther for food, leaving chicks behind that never survive the wait. Seal nurseries collapse into open water. Whales arrive from across the globe to find the banquet gone. The ocean becomes an invisible desert. The suffering is silent, but it is everywhere. This paradise of ice becomes a trap, perfectly adapted for a world that no longer exists.
For a long time, humanity believed Antarctica was too far away to matter, a distant tragedy for scientists and documentaries. But ice does not stay where it melts. Every drop of fresh water flowing into the ocean alters currents, weakens circulation, and disturbs systems that control weather across the planet. Antarctica is Earth's white heart, pumping cold through the global ocean. As that heart weakens, everything else destabilizes. Storms grow more violent. Rain falls where it never did before. Droughts stretch longer. Floods rise higher. Cities thousands of kilometers away begin to drown, not knowing the water at their feet was born in a collapsing continent they will never see. This is what makes Antarctica truly horrifying. Not its emptiness, but its connection to everything. More than 90% of Earth's ice lives here. Locked inside it are oceans waiting to be released. If even a fraction escapes, coastlines redraw themselves. Entire nations vanish. This is not science fiction, it is physics. Gravity does not negotiate. Water seeks the lowest point, and the ice is losing its grip. There is a concept in climate science known as the tipping point, a threshold beyond which change accelerates beyond our control, a moment where the system no longer responds to restraint. The most unsettling question of our time is no longer whether Antarctica will cross this line, but whether it already has. Whether the sounds echoing through its fractures are not warnings, but confirmations that we are no longer deciding the future, only witnessing it unfold.
The ice does not hate us. It does not judge. It responds. It reflects. Antarctica is a mirror held up to a warming world, showing us the consequences of heat carried invisibly through air and sea. Every city light, every engine, every moment of indifference sends warmth traveling south, molecule by molecule, until it reaches the purest place on Earth and begins to melt it from below. The collapse of Antarctica is not an isolated disaster, it is an echo of ourselves. This frozen continent has always been a journey through time. Deep within its ice, it preserves the past, a stable world of slow cycles and balance. On its surface, it shows us the present, a civilization powerful enough to alter planetary systems in the blink of an eye. And in its fractures, it reveals the future, not a destiny waiting to be discovered, but a consequence being constructed. We are the first generation capable of reading the planet's complete climate history, and we may be the last with the power to prevent its erasure. The tragedy is not only the loss of ice or animals or coastlines, but the burning of Earth's greatest library, chapter by chapter, drip by drip, just as we finally learned how to read it. Antarctica is collapsing. Not suddenly, not loudly, but relentlessly. And the most terrifying truth is this: when the ice finally falls silent, it will not be because it forgave us, but because there is nothing left to break.